Hey everyone, today I have a much requested video. A lot of you wanted to know what is in my neutral palette. So I'm going to show you exactly, and I'll give you a list of all the colors. You can find all the information below. By the way, if you're new here, hi, my name is Irit. I do watercolor videos, art journaling, traveler's notebook, mixed media, all that good stuff, but I have a long affair with watercolors. I do think they are the most magical of mediums. And yeah, so today I'm going to show you some of my favorite neutral colors. I hope you will subscribe, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and leave me a comment below. I would love to know what you want to see next also. That's always fun to get some ideas from you. So let's get started. I have discovered that I really like having kind of smaller palettes, but I do also like to have a lot of colors. Somehow it's more inviting for me to have smaller palettes. So the setup that I've used in the last couple of years, I would say, is to have one bright watercolor, which I call my rainbow palette, and then another one with neutrals. Now currently, I actually changed up a little bit my rainbow palette because I wanted it to be also a standalone palette. So I added two darker neutral colors, which used to live here in this spot here. And that made up kind of the perfect neutral palette for me. I don't know, this color, I think it's the black that came with the Schmincke student palette here. This one, that I have a separate video for it. I think that's the mystery color, but I don't really use it. It's just kind of like a black. That's how it looks. It's kind of a boring black, and I just prefer to have other neutrals. So I'm going to show you what is in my neutral palette, kind of the original perfect setting. I want to give a shout out to a lovely lady that sent me these from Slovenia. I will link you to her Instagram, and I'll try also to find her website. So obviously these can be just like pretty ornaments, but the way she suggests using them, and I think that's brilliant, and I actually don't have something like this, is as brush holders. I always have my brushes lying around somewhere making a mess, and these are really perfect. So they come in really cute colors. She also has handmade watercolors. I just want to show you basically what I have here. I have a row of kind of lighter neutrals. I have a row of medium shades, and then a row of darks. And I have to say that by far the row that I use the most is the dark shades. Yeah, but other shades here are also kind of nice. So let's start with the lighter ones. I have here, this one is, I think, Daniel Smith Buff Titanium, and then kind of a similar one, which I actually prefer the tone of it. It's a little more beigey, I feel, and the Daniel Smith is kind of more yellowish. So this is Buff Titanium. This one is called Warm Gray from Sennelier, and I have here another gray color from Sennelier, which is called Sennelier Gray. It has black, white, and also a little bit of a greenish pigment in it. I really like it. These colors are very muddy, and these two have 4 pigments in each of them. They will muddy up pretty much anything, but I think that's kind of a wanted thing many times when you're painting like landscapes or cityscapes with, you know, those dirty city colors. But beware. Now this one here is actually one that I mixed myself, and I do recommend doing that because you have an opportunity to, first of all, like tweak your neutrals and also use pigments that you use anyway, which will create a more harmonious look. But anyway, this one has Naples yellow and cobalt violet. So you can see already how the cobalt violet sinks in and how like buttery and pretty that yellow is. So I love that combo and I use it a lot. And here I mixed it already, like pre-mixed it, so I would have it reachable. Now I also have in, sadly, like what I'm saying sadly, in this palette a few handmade paints from Beth, I want to say her name is. And so a lot of these are like limited, you know, they were limited edition, you can't find them, but I know she does custom orders, and yeah, so it might be worth it to check them out if you want to get some of these. This one is called Berry Cake. And again, it's kind of a muddy color, but it's pretty. I haven't really seen anything similar in, you know, the major brands. So I do enjoy having these kind of more specialty colors. This one is rose gold and it's also by her, I think. And you can see it has a similar base color to this, and then it also has the gold in it. But I also have a really beautiful kind of rose gold color here in my other palette that is also handmade, and I will link you to that shop also. And you can see these are quite different. They're still wet, so that's why they are so shiny, but also when they dry, they're really, really pretty. And this one is lovely. I use it a lot for sprinkles. I have here also Potter's Pink, and this one is the Schmincke one. I have found that, you know, some pigments are a little bit, they kind of dry, really dry. I like to use reconstituted or re-wetted watercolor paint that either comes in a half pan or I squeezed from a tube into a half pan, let it dry, and then I use it. That's how I prefer to use them. And with some colors, you really have to work at them to get them juicy and flowing again. I found from my personal experience that especially like the cobalt colors and some of those more earthy granulating tones kind of need more love. But having said that, kind of across the board, the Schmincke paints, especially the half pans, I really love their pans, half pans or full pans. They re-wet beautifully and they're just as juicy as the other shades that are usually not problematic in any brand. So I have to mention them, and yeah, just Schmincke really does, like, also all their cobalt colors are beautiful and re-wet beautiful. They don't have a cobalt violet as far as I know, or one that I like. But yeah, anyway, this one is another one of those handmade paints. It's called Black Cherry, and it's just, again, a beautiful shade, something I don't really have, I think, in my stash. So this is just a beautiful color. Now, actually, a color that I should probably remove from this palette because I hardly ever use it. And the logic behind this was kind of to also include some kind of hair colors or a couple of options, because here I would always have to mix any kind of brown. And I do like orange hair. So that's why I included, this is the Schmincke Transparent Orange. I don't like it, period, kind of. I'm just not really into that color anymore. So I think I need to kind of remove it. The next one is one of their newer colors. I think they came out with these in 2017 or something like that. They came out with a new kind of range of colors that really, I feel like they made good choices, really completed their range. And this one is called Mahogany Brown. It's made with the pigment PBR, so brown 33. And it's a very granulating, how do they describe it? There it is. Mahogany brown, iron oxide, strongly granulating dark red brown. And it is really beautiful. I think it's so lovely. And I think it's quite similar to the next color that I absolutely love. This is from Daniel Smith, and whoa, that's intense. This is the Hematite Violet. Now you can see that they're quite different, which is just beautiful. It's another strongly granulating color. Next, we have from Mgram the always sticky, the sticky brand, I want to call it. This is Ultramarine Pink. It's a beautiful color. And I don't fill the pans. When I'm using Mgram, I don't fill up the pans completely because it's always sticky. And I hate when it sticks to everything. It drives me bananas. So now moving on to the dark colors. Let's see if you can guess this one. A classic. The iconic Daniel Smith Moon Glow. As I've said, this row is my most used one. This is a color that I kind of relatively recently in my watercolor journey got into. This is Perline Green. I think I have the Schmincke one, and it's just this beautiful, beautiful muted green. I am not a green fan, but this green I like. I like to use it as a dark color when I'm painting florals or, you know, forests or something like that. I like it. And then for some intensity, this is Perline Violet. So again, usually all the Perline colors are very, very intense. And this is the violet one, and I really love it, again, as a dark color to use. Next we have another favorite. This is indigo. My favorite indigo is the Schmincke one. A lot of indigos can be kind of flat because they have black in them. The Schmincke one just looks like this very intense inky blue, and I love it. It has 2 blue pigments in it. The next color is Payne's Gray. It's kind of a classic gray. This one is the Sennelier one. I don't use a ton of Payne's Gray. I like it as a neutral, but I don't have really strong feelings to one brand or the other. I like the Sennelier one, but as I've said, I'm not really attached to any of them. My kind of go-to replacement for Payne's Gray would be the Sodalite Genuine, which is slightly bluer, and that's a Daniel Smith color. That one I just like to use as a dark neutral color. It granulates and it's just beautiful. And then another one I really like is the Schmincke Neutral Tint. So both the Sodalite Genuine and the Neutral Tint used to live here, and they should go back there somehow. So I just really like the Schmincke Neutral Tint. I don't know, something about it. It's just, I really like the tone of it. Probably more than the other ones that I've tried, but I haven't tried so many. And yeah, soon I'm gonna run out of it, and since Schmincke are not vegan, I'm gonna have to find a vegan replacement. I'll probably try the Rembrandt one. I already ordered 3 tubes of Rembrandt paint, so I really want to test a little bit about the Rembrandt. It's another company that, like Schmincke, is really well established, been around for ages and ages, but their paints are vegan, so I want to test them out and see if they can be my replacement to my beloved Schmincke paints. Really, Schmincke is like top of the line. Daniel Smith when it comes to color range, Schmincke when it comes to the actual formula and performance of the paints. They are just so consistent across the board in each and every one of their paints. When with Daniel Smith, I find there's a little bit, you know, certain shades are not the greatest in my opinion. So I'm hoping that, you know, Rembrandt would be a good, more local to me, so European-based brand. And I'm going to rest my little brush here and hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, give it a like. I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.